Do you like being a gangster?
London in the 1960s. Everyone had a story about the Krays. They were twins.
Do you think we look alike?
Reggie was a gangster prince of the East End. Ron Kray was a one-man mob.
Your brother is violent, paranoid schizophrenic. What I'm trying to tell you is that he's off his rocker.
Wow, no.
It was a little bit of hit and hope, really, because I had no previous experience of it, and I didn't know what I was doing, and at all. But then that's where the team comes into it, because it's once we decided we were going to do it in this way, then we cut our cloth accordingly and found out how that was going to work on the floor. So, to be fair, it's not, again, that difficult as such, because when I read a script, or I'm sure when you may read a script, you hear all the voices of the different characters, and you can distinguish who's who when you read a book, and you have a visual possibly, or a sound of what they sound like. So you're just imitating that and just putting that in the workplace. It just happens that I'm greedy enough to have two characters, but how do we make it seamless? And that's a team operation, and so it became a nice world where I really enjoyed going to work to problem solve and try and push every day. I think all of us, how we can make it more seamless, and some days were better than others, but we progressed through that, and that was an experience in itself.
I think it's our version of a story that's been told and has many incarnations and forms, and it's probably a little bit of a fairy tale in a way, but hopefully so that you don't really realize it till maybe you think about it later. But it's a story of the Krays, and I think I'm rambling, but
we'll cut it together.
It's a story that's part of the myth of London and the myth of the 60s, and this is our version of it.
And I knew all about. I knew myths that circulate about the twins, but they're quite common knowledge there in the UK. So there's plenty of material on them. I suppose there were some of the most famous, kind of infamous gangsters that we have from our country, who keep popping up over and over and over and over again.
There's all kinds of stories, and it goes off in different directions. My favorite story was that Ron, a few weeks, I believe, before he was arrested and away forever, left the country and went on a trip to New York and tried to visit some of the gangsters that he knew, and they all knew he was under investigation and being followed. And they sent some retired mobster to take him around, and they went to the top of the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building and stuff like that. And it just seemed like a great story, but there's no way to stick it in it's about a 20-minute short film.
And I kind of just was happy to follow along with Brian's version of the story, because I think you can the performance might get a little bit convoluted and muddled if you're trying to take into account everything that is, every piece of information that's out there about the characters.
Yeah, and you can't tell all these lives in 2 hours of film. And in a way, you have to try to find the spirit of the character and be true to the spirit of the character, because the actual day-to-day events and to take someone's whole life and cram it into 20 scenes in a film you're never going to be able to capture that. So I think you try to find the spirit of who they were and stay true to that.
What Brian had created with characters as well within Legend, it takes the onus off trying to showboat or push anything. The characters are there and very easy to transmute. The complicated part of it is technically how does one do that? And that was, again, purely like some technical as opposed. So the doing of it was much more pleasurable than the anticipation of like, oh no, we're going to make a mess of this. But it was fun all around, and I think you have to have fun if you're going to do something that you love, and then hopefully that if you love what you're doing, then it'll cross over when people watch it. There was a lot of effort put in, a lot of care.
You hit me.
Yeah.
What is that? I come here for a proper shootout. A shootout, right? It's a shootout! Like a Western.
Your brother, he's a loose cannon. We need you to do something about Ron.
I can't do that. He's my brother.